To manage your user accounts, simply visit File, Users. This will show you your current user records. To add a new user, simply select New. The name of the user is not transmitted and will not be shown on any label or report. However, the RX label initials are used by the software to know what technician or pharmacist created and modified prescriptions. They'll be shown on labels, notes, reports, among other things. City, street, phone number are all optional in creating a user. The type field is very important. It determines whether the user is a primary or a secondary user. Administrators and pharmacists are primaries. Technicians, drivers, and general users are referred to as secondary. The Security tab allows you to input a password for the current user. Notice the set of restrictions on the right-hand side. These restrictions allow the owner of the pharmacy to determine what areas of the software or what functions you would like to restrict on a certain user. The security restrictions will only take place if the security settings are turned on in the software's configuration. If you visit Tools, Configuration Preferences, under the Options tab, you will find Install Security with Passwords. If this is turned on, this will allow passwords to take effect as well as restrictions. Let's go back to File, Users, and notice how the user I'm using currently is not allowed to access that part of the software. The user will need an override from a supervisor in order to access that part of the software that is restricted. By selecting Yes, a supervisor can now log in with his or her password. In order to provide temporary access to that part of the software that was once restricted. Notice the user PHA, the user I'm currently logged in with. If we visit the Security tab, he is currently restricted from all access to the software. I can change this by selecting all or just simply selecting the functions that I wish to give him access to. Once I press Save, notice how the user can now access the user table without needing authorization from a supervisor. To switch between users, you can use the Sign On button located at the top of the screen. This will let you switch from one user to another. For example, if a user goes out to lunch, takes a break, he or she is required to log off in order for another user to log in. Notice how the secondary user is currently unavailable. This is an option in the configuration that needs to be turned on. If we visit Tools, Configuration Preference, under the Defaults tab, you have an option for Only Pharmacists Need to Log In. If this option is removed, you can now log in with both a primary and a secondary user. So on your labels, reports, and notes, you will know who the pharmacist was and who the technician was that created or modified a prescription.